Squash XL Pro is an elite team that work hard to train, play and run squash events on our journey to climb the world rankings. Like, subscribe, comment, pick up some of our merch on Teespring.
So underway with this, the final match of the day session as such. It is the men's quarterfinal. ZAC Millar there in the pink headband and blue t-shirt against TEMWA Chileshe. We're expecting some entertaining shots. ZAC Millar has a habit of doing that. But also long rallies like this particular first rally that is. And feel free to come through with your support for either player. Maybe a few predictions, maybe a few comments on reffing or decisions that are made. Remembering that this evening we have matches scheduled for 6:15, 7, 7:45 and 8:30. So 4 semi-finals tonight. Oh, that was assertive. Everybody loves doing that. Yeah, feels good. Oh. Well, already a couple of fast-paced rallies. One winner off the serve from TEMWA Chileshe, which was a great start. And no subtlety on that match, and then we get a change of pace again. It's all very well to pick up the ball expecting that it's going to get called, but possibly best to wait until it is actually called. Shot. So what we're seeing there is understanding from TEMWA, knows what his opponent's like, also knows that he can't let his opponent back into anything. A very tricky player to come up against because you never know what he's going to do. TEMWA just with a couple of points now. Trying to push that one. Good to have so many people, so many players from all sorts of different grades around on the main court here watching this particular match. He picked it up. Oh, so low over the 10. What's a grin there from ZAC Millar? So both of these players are very familiar with these courts, these whole surrounds. As we heard Bruce Morgan say earlier, solid membership around the Waikato with squash. Did you get it? He did pick it up. Yeah, nice. A lot of running there from ZAC Miller. In the end, wasn't able to get there. And almost throwing himself into the wall. That wouldn't have been a pretty sight. Yeah, really impressive to have so many people around it. Yeah, a service fault. Ooh. I think your mates are going to give you a bit of hassles about that, Temwa. They're all watching, and yeah, no one wants to do a service fault, particularly in front of their friends and a whole heap of people. And so far, a consistently inconsistent start by both players. Let's see what we can do. Can we improve it? Can we work out a game plan? Oh, nice. Good play. And ZAC Miller edging ahead here. And TEMWA Chileshe is going to have to be careful that he doesn't get into the same game plan as ZAC and try and outplay him at what he does. Stick to your own game and he'll have a much better chance. So you can hear PJ has given ZAC Miller an explanation. Doesn't overly like it, but that's beside the point. A little bit of body checking there in the middle of the court. We heard some explanations from Lawamba Chileshe about how Wills Donnelly and Joel Arscott both loving playing from the middle. And you're going to see it a little bit here as well, just a bit of body checking. The different styles of play. He's jostling for position in the middle of the court. Oh, that's a great boast. He's come back nicely, has TEMWA Chileshe in this particular first game. We had ZAC Miller who had gone ahead. Oh, well played. Just so much whip on that. Hit the ground and took off. That face says it all. We don't need to really say too much on that. And out. Oh, gee. So first game ball for TEMWA CHILESHE in this, the final quarter-final contest of the day. Players coming back for the semi-finals for 6:15. And well played by TEMWA CHILESHE. Takes this the first game, 11-9. The despairing dive from ZAC MILLAR. And not coming off in the end, and that is one game to love for TEMWA CHILESHE. So back in now for this, the second game of the final quarter-final of what has been a very interesting day of squash. Remembering the players that have won so far: Caitlin Watts in 3 over Sophie Hodges. We've had Natalie Sayes in 5 over Lauren Clark. Emma Miller was straight over Winona Jo Joyce. Abby Palmer straight over Tracy Kimball. Those 2 matches were on the outside courts. And we had Luamba CHILESHE in straight over Glenn Templeton. Wills Donnelly, well, that was a bit of an epic. 4 games over Joel Ascot with a few interesting decisions along the way. And Evan Williams, well, he had a straight game victory over Sean Wiggin in the previous match. And in the first game here, we saw some very good shot making by both players. And now, as we get into the second game proper, I'd like to ask. Well, I've got Richard, the development manager of Squash Waikato, joining me. And Richard, your role is a bit of a part-time role as such, but you end up working all over the Waikato region. Would that be correct?
Yep, we cover the Waikato from South Waikato down to Tamanui, all the way up to Thames and the the North Coromandel region. So, yep.
How many clubs have you got in the Waikato region?
You're going to ask me that.
Okay, you've forgotten? Okay, quite a few.
Let's say it's upwards of 20.
Okay. And you're seeing a couple of Waikato boys, as they are as such, on the court right now.
Mate, good, strong Waikato boys.
And it's always great to watch ZAC MILLAR because the facial expressions that you get, well, they're just entertainment in themselves.
Yeah, look, certainly a good match to watch between these guys. There's not much between them, and yeah, there's always a bit of humour, isn't there? Certainly want to win the game.
A lot of power.
Yeah, would be a good rugby player, I think, both of them.
Yeah, both got the builds for it. But you can say that certainly Temwa is extremely fit. And ZAC will probably say he's not quite at his fittest just yet. Oh, at the top of the tin. But it's great to have so many people here around the court today because it's a nice number of people, isn't it?
They've done a fantastic job setting up, and good to see the live stream and obviously your commentary. So yeah, it really adds a lot to the quality of delivery, and yeah.
What about for you as a development man for Squash? See, I gave you a new title again. For Squash Waikato, when you have 150 plus people entering from grade 8 through to the open grade, that's got to make your job good as well, make you feel good.
Look, I think, there's probably less an emphasis on high performance, which this is, clearly. But, it's great to see.
I meant to have grade 8
Yeah.
through to this, and then
You-
7
you're-
grades, I think, in the women's.
I think you and I could fill in one of those divisions, couldn't we? But, look, I think the coverage and the visibility of squash is added to by this sort of squash. And, we've just got to make it relevant to as many people as we can.
So this particular game, or the second game here, it hasn't been easy for either player. We've seen a couple of errors creep in. Miller with the early lead. He had that early lead in the first game as well. Temwa just has to make sure he doesn't get into the same game as Zach Miller. If he keeps on playing his game, he'll be fine, which is a steady game. Anyways,
patient. He's got that. He knows he's got the fitness to stay with it.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if you try and out-hit Zach, it's not always going to work. Oh, that's a good play. It was nice the way he worked his way forward and then just held and was able to use the angle. And not much pace on it.
Game of who makes the least errors, I think.
Well, what we've got with Temwa when he plays, he generally makes around about 2, sometimes 3 errors like that a game, which when you're playing against even higher ranked players, it can be costly. The last thing he wants to do, though, is play a 5-gamer or a 4-gamer in this quarterfinal and then come back and play, I think it's the 8:30 match against his brother. So he wants to get this over and done with.
3.
Definitely.
No. Can't see it being anything less than 4. How'd you like to be in that hot seat?
Well, particularly in the previous match, or a couple of previous matches at Wills against Joel, it was contentious. Almost every point, including the final point. You just had to feel. I wouldn't want to be a ref in any sport. Particularly when you're having to contend with body checks, not on purpose, but when you're having to contend on things like that. If you're calling just a straight in or out, it's a lot more straightforward. And that's when in tennis they're generally calling a straight in or out. But when you're having to contend with an if, a but, or a maybe, you've got the loudest tins in the world here.
Correct. You know that it's down. No contention there.
You know if it hits the 10. But that's the thing with squash officiating. You have to deal with, it's an if, it's a but, it's a maybe.
I think
it's not always clear cut.
I think all you can ask is consistency. Consistently bad, well, that's good for both players. Well, not good for both players, but you know what you're going to get. It's not an easy job, that's for sure.
I asked a couple of players, do they mind being an official when it's an interclub or whatever? And Joe Smythe, the 17-year-old out of Bay of Plenty, he said no, he doesn't like it at all.
And he's a top player.
Yeah.
Right on QA.
So the explanation there from PJ just telling you where.
5-8.
I think both players actually seem to agree on what happened there.
Sure.
comes back a little bit. So nice little comebacks. Come back a couple points. TEMWA CHILESHE. See what he can do now. Hug in the wall. Who's going to switch first? Oh. Yeah, well played. And good finish to that point. Some good reactions. And a nice reaction volley by ZAC MILLAR in the end. Should be 7-8. Yes, it is. So for you, Richard, how's your own squash? You play a bit here at this club or any other club?
I play out of Lugden, which is across
Yes, another one.
And yeah, I'm just a battler. Weekend warrior, they call it, don't they?
Well, earlier today, I had Mason Smales there, and he saw Natalie Sayes do a particular shot, and he said, "That's an old man shot."
I heard him.
You know,
Yeah.
you sort of think about it.
Jeez. Try not to play those reverse base, but desperate times calls for desperate measures, I guess. We've started playing a little bit of racquetball in the Waikato, which for older guys it seems to be a less strenuous sort of position on the body. So, but yeah.
Well, there's a few people in squash around the world who are almost worried about it, that racquetball might overtake, but it shouldn't really matter at all.
No,
I mean, you can enhance. You've got a facilities, use it for everything.
Yeah, you've got to cater for all the different markets. You've got to cater for the new markets, the old markets like myself, and yeah, the more people we can get on court, it's a good thing.
And if you've got the facility, it can be a squash facility, but if you can use it for whatever.
Correct.
I've seen rugby teams using squash courts for all sorts of training as well.
Yeah.
That's another good thing. Don't consider, I mean, it's not a big thing in the Waikato from what Bruce Morton was saying, but pay to play is big in Auckland to a certain extent.
Yep.
And also to Christchurch for a couple of venues as well.
Yep. Look, yeah, the recreation market's huge, and I think we've got to cater for it. I was speaking to Mr. Duggan last night, chap sitting alongside you, and it's a good one for Zach.
And we go with ZAC MILLAR winning the first, the second, sorry, it's now 1-1. Well, one game each as we come into the third here, and this is the final quarter-final of a long day of squash. And we've had 6 quarter-finals on this court, let alone the 2 matches on the outside courts, which was Emma Miller winning over Winona Joe Joyce and Abby Palmer winning over Tracy Kimball. And see what these two can conjure up. A little bit of magic there, Richard. Oh, it was there. Oh. We've got a real, I don't know what sort of shot, almost a pirouette shot.
Dainty.
Yeah.
Dainty. I think Zach will need to win this one. Have a chance.
Richard, what are some of the special things you got going on around the place, around clubs? Is there anything in particular in the Waikato region?
I think one of the good things Bruce Morgan sort of introduced is technology. So we have digital scoring at a number of the clubs now, which obviously
Lawrenceville has that every single court, I think.
correct. Yep. So Lugden has the same. Te and I think, geez, I should know this, but Matamata looking at it, and also Tarapa. So yeah, that sort of technology resonates with a young audience, and it just makes it more fun to be involved.
And does a tournament like this help with other players? We're not talking about the pro guys out in front here. We're talking about with other players, the lower divisions. Does it help them?
Yeah, look, I think everyone looks forward to the Waikato Open. It's has that esteem about it, and yeah, even if you're not playing in the Open, just to play in the Waikato Open, it's something to look forward to.
Now, it's pretty audacious to do that from the back of the court.
I guess remembering, Dave, that not everyone gets to see these guys all the time, these top players, so just playing at the same tournament, yeah, it's a good feeling.
Well, you do have a Commonwealth Games player here in ZAC, a doubles player, and you've got Evan Williams, a player he made the second round actually of the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast. I remember being there covering that, and amazing venue that it was.
Yes.
At Dream World, and there was rides and roller coasters going around behind where you were. It was we were in a movie set.
Yes,
I think it'd been used for Pirates of the Caribbean or one of those movies where the squash was played. So you've got players like that. Here, Emma Millar's played for the New Zealand team in the past.
Yep.
And you've obviously got some players who, in theory, in the future, will end up in New Zealand teams. I mean, Luamba's played in the New Zealand team 2019, which finished 5th in the world. So there's a lot of talent. People aren't too sure. Oh, great rally. Oh, jammed up against the wall. You know, people might hear that you've got a player ranked, say, 200 in the world, and Temwa is, what is he at the moment, 202. You know, what does that mean? Oh, they can't be any good, they're only 200 in the world. Well, take a look.
Come and have a look, yeah.
You know?
It's something to appreciate, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, Luamba's 140, and no doubt after this tournament will go a few more places.
Look, I might be biased, but I guess squash has a really good reputation of being humble.
Yep.
You know, you can talk to these guys, the Chileshe boys, lovely kids, and if squash can hold on to that, they've got something good to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. Knowing these players pretty well, and they are certainly quite humble. At times, you almost need them to be a little bit more promoting themselves in that sense, without being arrogant.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just looking around the crowd here, it's pretty impressive.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Got a lid on that one, and no big arguments so far, so that's always a good thing. Although I'm sure with the crowd enjoying themselves, they'll probably get a response from the crowd as well, some of these players. Ooh, a slice under that one. No let. Oh. Zach Millar's happy if Temwa argues because he's just leaning on the wall taking a rest. Well, this match has just ticked over half an hour. And how'd that stay in? You're going to love that.
Yeah.
It's the sort of shot that everybody likes to do, if you can do it.
It's normally the other 99 that you hit down that
Oh, yeah.
make it
Yeah,
a
but you
bonus.
only remember that one. Zach Millar's having to do a lot of running so far at this point. fairly vital point. Oh, stay low. Now he's just walking to it. Oh. Yeah, he was a bit slow to get out of that one, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so, but it was marginal, wasn't it? I could have called that a let.
Yeah, it was a bit slow and possibly could have moved out quicker. It's a long rally.
He didn't want that.
We're still
he wanted
going.
that rally to finish, didn't he?
Oh, gee. Yeah, well, that was actually a vital point. And Temwa just hanging in there. The unpredictability of ZAC Miller is the problem. In so many different ways.
No,
He tripped over himself rather than. So, okay, so it's been decided there was no let. He did trip over. So this now the players are still talking about it. I don't know if they're talking actually the same way. It was almost as if no one was actually disagreeing with everybody, but they were disagreeing with the same decision. Yeah, it was a little bit confusing in the end. It becomes a point to ZAC Miller. Oh, instead we get one back. Again, like we said, he is still hanging in there.
I think Zach liked the break he got there, didn't he? That might have helped him a little bit. Big point coming up.
Now that angled shot was so extreme that it was so difficult for Temwa to get to. And I tell you what, if this keeps going, we'll be into the night session straight away. So coming back now for this, the third game, the last quarterfinal of the day. And it's been entertaining, for sure, in front of the big crowd here. We had ZAC Miller getting advice from his sister Emma. And it'd be interesting to hear what she was going to say to him. Oh, tried to flick it off his feet. And Richard was trying to give me a new guest. Kay Newman. She was trying to run away from the World Masters champ, I believe, but we'll see if we can convince her to say hello and talk about squash here for Masters. But in the meantime, this rally, oh, nice. Gee, got a high then. And feel free to come through with any predictions, particularly tonight as well, as we have the semi-finals from 6:15. Remember the double taking his footwork there. Just about dawdling to the ball. I'm not sure where he's running to. You ran a bit too late there, Zach. But in the end, going to TEMWA CHILESHE. A little bit of tiredness perhaps creeping into the play of both players. Remembering that the semi-finals tonight, we do have Emma Miller. She's up against Natalie Sayers, and we have Abby Palmer, and she takes on Caitlin Watts. Just seeing the line there. And for you, Richard, as a development officer, you're going to try and develop a few more talented players like these ones. It's got to be great
I think
to have so many people around watching as well.
fantastic. I think that's how sport develops. Good coaches, and I think that's one of our focuses to try and get people like Kay Neeran, who come on next. Just giving that first experience into squash, and those are the people that can really bring players through.
Oh, nice shot.
Just to throw out a coaching name, because I know you'll be listening, AJ Gregory. Watch him. He's the next up and coming coach.
Yeah, from the Waikato here.
The Waikato.
Oh. Well, some good acting skills there. I was expecting a fallback, didn't quite come off. Oh, yeah, it's a good shot. I don't think you can give a lip for that. Well, he took that ball so far forward of the line. Sure what he was doing. Oh, there's two into that very loud tin that we have at this club. And a considerable lead now for Temwa. Look at that, the lob serve. Unusual point so far. That's almost a shot that you do in practice. The footwork of ZAC has gone.
Rest game.
Not sure if he's saving himself for a fifth or what's happening here. Yeah. Well, it's quite hard for Temwa to play against this as well, although he knows what ZAC can be like.
He knows it's going to 5.
Okay. Well, there
That was
you go.
quick.
That was extremely quick. We are coming back for a fifth and hope that it's played a little bit better than that. Well, Emma, I'm not sure what you're going to say to your brother after that, but yeah, I have no idea.
Not much you can say.
No, okay, well, we'll come back for the fifth very shortly. Well, we're back for game number 5. It's been entertaining, interesting, and the last game, well, that was just a mess. Let's see what TEMWA CHILESHE can do here, because ZAC Millar appeared to let it slide in the fourth after the first few points. Just want to come back and refocus. Oh, there's one extreme boast. Oh. Oh dear. No point diving for that. We're going to need a towel for that one. So, Richard, for you as development officer here at Squash Waikato, it costs a few dollars to put a tournament like this on, but then there's the player entries and things like that, and of all the grades. I'm sure there's not a huge amount of money just floating around saying, hey, take me, but is there money around to help develop the sport?
I guess that's the challenge in most sports, isn't it? Like, it's cap in hand all the time, and I think there's been a big change in terms of the funding models, and I think sport needs to learn to be commercial and generate their own money. So So, in answer to your question, there's not a lot of money. So we value sponsors that do come on board, and Sports Challenge to try and give the sponsors something back. And this sort of presentation obviously helps. And we just got to make sure that we recognise the sponsors, and because they're not easy to find.
So you're saying that, say the older sponsorship model of using the foundations, whether it was a Lion Foundation, all those things, they're kind of going, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So you've got to be more adaptable and probably engage more with your actual sponsors and supporters and engage with them.
Engage is a great word. I know it's overused, but we need to be engaged across the board, and just make sure that everyone's looked after, not just high performance. And look, sport has existed on a voluntary model for such a long time, as you'd be aware, and that all thins year by year. We just need to make things more commercial. And unfortunately, it is user paid, but we'll subsidise as best we can, and put out programs that we think is going to grow the game. But it's a challenge.
Are there many squash clubs that have combined with other sports? Like obviously we've got tennis and squash here. For a lot of sports, they're having to use their facilities to be proper clubs. When I say proper clubs, I say multi-sport clubs.
Look, I think that's clearly the way to go. More utilisation, more programs to offer, not just squash. It needs to be the next generation, which has come out of the UK. Lloyd's Leisure, they identified probably 15 years ago that racket sports were struggling to offer a membership value, and gyms have obviously been attached, and there's plenty of gyms around these days, and they have a commercial model. So the hybrid or the multi-facility model makes a lot of sense.
Managed to get up very high there and take the ball in as a smash. Very good at that sort of shot. So you've got to be careful if you try and lift it or try and lob. There goes ZAC Millar. That's good play. I think what you're seeing there's an example of the Trust Stadium in West Auckland, for instance. You've got a rugby club playing out of there. You've got a netball franchise which plays out of there. There's also basketball the Breakers have played out of there. You've also got the athletics track. The All Blacks train there at times.
Yes.
And then you've got an amazing gym. And then you've also got the function room. So it's got everything used out of there.
Yeah.
There's car parking as well. And then there's all sorts of other things which are being held on the main courts as well.
I think the challenge is we've got these existing facilities and no one wants to let them go. So the reinvestment to build those types of trusts, as in terms of Waitakere or one you just mentioned. My brother's actually the chairman of the rugby club. So
right.
I think Waitakere soccer play out of there.
Yeah, I think so. So that's the thing. If you can make it where they can use multi-facilities. I mean, you look at Australia for the NRL. Sure, they're trying to go back to the smaller stadiums again. But at times, some stadiums have 3 clubs playing up.
Yeah, there's
nothing wrong with that. What matters is if there's football one day and rugby the next day. So what?
Yeah, there's I don't know if you've been down to the Hawke's Bay in the last wee while, but you'll know the name Graham Avery. He's philanthropic.
I know Graham personally. Yeah.
And hasn't he done a good job to reinvent what goes on? And they've got the Hawke's Bay hub, I think it is. And there must be 20 sports operating out of the one complex. It makes a lot of sense.
So slowing down the pace here. See who's going to whip it across court first. Very testing.
Lucky.
I don't know how Temwa was meant to get out of the way of that.
I think Jack was a little bit lazy there, to be fair, and he's milking it because he's obviously tired. But it's definitely
it's going to milk that, that's for sure. this is the problem. You get into the So this is the problem that we get into the 5th game.
Yeah.
And both players getting a little tired, I'm sure. Every point vital. So we're going to get a lot of decisions like this.
Be a long game.
Yeah, we will be here at 6 o'clock in too. I want to go and check into my hotel. Yeah. That was a better shot. He knew it was a good shot. Finished it off nicely. So 5 apiece, and we have no idea who's actually going to win this. Really don't. And the big crowd leaning over the railings, enjoying sitting here and enjoying this particular match. It is a quarterfinal. The winner of this match, whoever that may be eventually, takes on TEMWA CHILESHE. Oh, there you go. And that was a vital point for TEMWA CHILESHE. So what TEMWA CHILESHE is going to do is just cut down errors like that, because now against Zach, he's back in. So the explanation there from official PJ, and yeah, the stroke there ran right back into it. So we've seen the stroke, and 7-6 is the score. Another one of the vital. Oh, well, you need that. Okay. So 7-all. Richard, what do you think about that point?
Mate, what do you say? How did your shoe fall off? Seriously? Did you not tie them up? I know he's been running, but I think he wants to break, to be fair.
Yeah. It's entertaining. It really is. If anybody's got any thoughts, they can send them through. And feel free to do that. We've had a couple of opinions earlier today. Some about the refereeing, and that's fine. Feel free. So 7-all. All right, and this is commonly regarded as the most vital point, but I think it's always the most vital point is the last one. But when you do get to 7 apiece, everybody just trying to get that little wedge to go up 8-7 and beyond. Let's see what we can do here. It's been one of those matches. That's a better point from TEMWA CHILESHE. Got himself into a good position. able to move his opponent around. So 8-7. Well, whoever does win this is going to have to get their body ready fairly quickly, because their match will be at 8:30, I think, tonight. Semi-final against TEMWA CHILESHE. Oh, is that the shoe or just football? Can you take one up? I'm not sure this match is actually going to end, let alone end before the 6:15 semi-final scheduled time. How long we've been going? Well, we've gone an hour. It's not to say we're not enjoying it. We are. These. Oh my goodness, he got it. No, it didn't. Oh, I thought I'd just give it to him anyway. And the towel's getting a workout. And where are we now? 8-all. It was almost squished himself into the corner, into the wall. Probably needs to extract his face from it. It's just gotta be careful doing that. Oh, and I wouldn't wipe your face with that, Tim. Okay. Oh, that's not healthy. So here we are. Vital point again. We've been saying this for a while. 8-all. Got it? Oh, almost. He had it. Great dive. Yeah, the towel. Don't put it on your face this time, boys. Some great reactionary volley there from ZAC Millar, and it almost came off. So in the end we have 9-8. You can see the score there ticking over. We've had a whole lot of dives and everything else in between. I don't know, you can't leave it there. You can't leave the towel there. It's considered part of the court. This is typical of ZAC Millar. Loves to provide a bit of entertainment. May not necessarily win it, but he likes to keep us all here at the courts. Oh, just like that. Oh, Richard, we've come to match point, first match point. That's not to say it's over yet. It's certainly been entertaining, hasn't it? Everybody was silent, waiting for that one. We're not going to finish on a stroke, are we? No. We have the earlier match with Wills against Joel, but see what we can do. He's taking his time as ZAC Millar to get to the ball. Well, we'll let the players talk, and I don't need to say anything because they'll talk it through.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that is one heck of an entertaining contest. A 5-game quarterfinal there. And TEMWA CHILESHE will go through. He's asking, can you sweep up the sweat? He got told no.